The United States is considering issuing a digital dollar, a central bank digital currency, CBDC. A CBDC is a digital form of fiat currency that is issued and regulated by a central bank. It is different from cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, which are decentralized and not regulated by any government or financial institution. 10 pros of the United States changing the dollar to a digital dollar. 1. Increased efficiency. Digital currency transactions can be processed much faster and more efficiently than traditional fiat currency transactions. This is because digital currency transactions are not subject to the same regulatory hurdles as traditional fiat currency transactions. For example, digital currency transactions can be processed in real time, while traditional fiat currency transactions can take several days to process. This could lead to significant time savings for businesses and individuals. 2. Reduced costs. Digital currency could help to reduce the costs associated with traditional fiat currency, such as the costs of printing and distributing cash. Additionally, digital currency transactions typically have lower fees than traditional fiat currency transactions. This could lead to lower costs for businesses and individuals, especially those who make frequent international payments. 3. Improved financial inclusion. Digital currency could help to improve financial inclusion by making it easier for people to access financial services. For example, digital currency could be used to make micropayments or to send money to people in developing countries without having to pay high fees. This could help to reduce poverty and promote economic growth. 4. Increased transparency. Digital currency transactions are recorded on a public ledger, which makes them more transparent than traditional fiat currency transactions. This can help to reduce corruption and fraud. For example, it would be much more difficult for politicians to embezzle public funds if all government transactions were recorded on a public ledger. 5. Enhanced security. Digital currency is generally considered to be more secure than traditional fiat currency, as it is encrypted and stored on a decentralized network. This makes it very difficult for hackers to steal digital currency. For example, the Bitcoin blockchain has never been hacked, despite billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin being stored on it. 6. Reduced reliance on central banks. A digital dollar would help to reduce the United States' reliance on central banks. This is because digital currency could be used to make payments without the need for a central bank to process the transaction. This could give the United States more economic independence and make it less vulnerable to financial shocks. 7. Increased innovation. A digital dollar could spur innovation in the financial sector. For example, it could lead to the development of new financial products and services, such as decentralized lending and borrowing platforms and new types of investment products. This could make the financial system more efficient and accessible to everyone. 8. Expanded global reach. A digital dollar could be used to make payments anywhere in the world. This could be beneficial for businesses and individuals who operate internationally. For example, a U.S. company could use a digital dollar to pay a supplier in China without having to worry about exchange rates or transaction fees. 9. Reduced environmental impact. Digital currency could help to reduce the environmental impact of the financial system. This is because digital currency does not require the use of paper or metal, which are both harmful to the environment. For example, the production of paper currency requires cutting down trees, while the mining of precious metals used in coins can pollute the environment. 10. Increased financial sovereignty. A digital dollar would give the United States more financial sovereignty. This is because the United States would be able to control the supply and demand of a digital dollar, which is not possible with traditional fiat currency. This could make the United States less vulnerable to economic sanctions and other forms of financial coercion. 10 cons of the United States changing the dollar to a digital dollar. 1. Reduced privacy. Digital currency transactions are recorded on a public ledger, which means that anyone can view them. This could reduce people's financial privacy. For example, it would be possible for the government or other organizations to track people's spending habits. 2. Increased government control. A digital dollar would give the government more control over the financial system. This is because the government would be able to track all digital currency transactions and freeze accounts at will. This could lead to a more authoritarian government and a less free society. 3. Increased risk of fraud. Digital currency is still a relatively new technology, and there is an increased risk of fraud associated with it. For example, hackers could steal digital currency from wallets or exchanges. Additionally, There is a risk of scams and other fraudulent activity. 4. Reduced access for the unbanked and underbanked. Digital currency requires access to the internet and a smartphone, which many people do not have. This could make it difficult for the unbanked and underbanked to use digital currency. This could exacerbate existing economic inequalities. 5. Increased volatility. Digital currency prices can fluctuate wildly in value. This could make digital currency unsuitable for everyday transactions. For example, if the price of a digital dollar suddenly drops, people could lose a lot of money if they use it to buy groceries or pay their bills. 6. Reduced regulatory oversight. The regulation of digital currency is still uncertain in the United States. This could make it difficult for businesses to accept digital currency as payment and for users to know what their legal rights are. For example, there is no clear legal framework for resolving disputes involving digital currency. 7. Increased risk of cyberattacks. Digital currency is stored on computers and networks, which are vulnerable to cyberattacks. If a cyberattack were to succeed, hackers could steal digital currency or disrupt the financial system. For example, in 2014, hackers stole over $500 million worth of Bitcoin from the Mt. Gox exchange. 8. Reduced economic stability. A digital dollar could lead to economic instability. This is because digital currency is not subject to the same regulations as traditional fiat currency. For example, the government would not be able to bail out a bank that lost money due to a digital currency failure. 9. Reduced consumer confidence. Some people may not be comfortable using digital currency. This could reduce consumer confidence and lead to a decline in economic activity. For example, a study by the Pew Research Center found that only 30% of Americans would be comfortable using digital currency. 10. Increased complexity. Digital currency can be complex to understand and use. This could make it difficult for people to use digital currency, especially those who are not familiar with technology. For example, users need to understand how to create and manage a digital currency wallet, and how to make and receive digital currency payments. Conclusion. The decision of whether or not to change the dollar to a digital currency is a complex one. There are both pros and cons to consider, and it is important to weigh them carefully. It is also important to be aware of the potential for increased government intrusion. A digital dollar would make it easier for the government to track people's financial transactions and tax them. The government could also use this information to implement other measures that could increase its control over the financial system. Ultimately, the decision of whether or not to change the dollar to a digital currency is a political one. It will be up to the government to decide whether the potential benefits outweigh the potential risks. It is important to have a public debate about the pros and cons of a digital dollar before any decision is made. This debate should include input from a variety of stakeholders, including businesses, consumers, and privacy advocates. The government should also be transparent about its plans for a digital dollar. It should explain how it will be implemented and how it will be used. The government should also be clear about the privacy implications of a digital dollar. It is important to strike a balance between the potential benefits and risks of a digital dollar. The government should implement a digital dollar in a way that protects people's privacy and does not give the government too much control over the financial system.